The purpose of this video is to show you how to batch or bulk add students to GoGuardian rosters. Luckily, GoGuardian and Clever have started pre-loading our students in the pre-made rosters and pushing them out to us so that we don't have to make our own rosters and manually add all of our students. Sometimes, though, the rosters are split and you have to combine them into one period. Or in my case, I just really don't like the way that the classes are named in GoGuardian. And unfortunately, the Clever imported classes you cannot rename for some reason. So I'm making my own classes because it doesn't take all that long and naming them how I want to, just so I know that this is period 3, this is period 5. And yes, you can click into it and see that this is period 7, but I like to see things visually. So, doing it this way, batch adding, is not any easier or any less work than adding them manually one by one, but it does minimize the risk of manual errors, of like if you mistype a number, accidentally add the wrong student, and I think it's a little bit more efficient as well. So these are all the steps that you need if you want to just pause it or take a screenshot and do it on your own. But I'll be going through one iteration with one class, my period 7, so that you have an idea of what it looks like. So to begin, we need to get a roster of our students, and to do that, we need to go to Performance Matters. We're going to Performance Matters because we can export a list into Excel, which is editable. If we use Synergy, the list that we get is in a PDF file, and it's hard to pull out all the numbers in a way that is editable very easily. So we're going to go to Reports, and we're going to generate a baseball card report for our period 7. We're going to add a student filter using, again, the baseball card report. And in the geographical tab, we're going to make sure that we're using just our students. So select your name. So I'll select my name. My period 7 is a science class, not an elective. It's this class. And we have period 3, 5, 7, and 8. So P8, P7. My period 7 is selected. I'll apply the filter, and I have all of my period 7 students listed here. We don't actually want their names, though. We just want their IDs. Oops. So we're going to go to Manage Columns, and we're going to actually deselect their names, and we only want their student IDs, nothing else. And this generates a list of all of their student IDs. This is still unusable, though. We're actually going to download it. It'll generate an Excel spreadsheet, and we're going to open this up in Excel. This also does with Google Sheets if you prefer using the Google Suite, but works with Excel also. We need to attach the email suffix, so at mcpsmd.net, to these emails, to these student IDs. So somewhere on the sheet, I wouldn't go very far. I'm just going to go to column D. We're going to do a quick function. It's called the concatenate function. It's equals concat, and you can type out the whole thing. This is the old function name. You can just write concat also because it'll work. So either one. We're going to open parentheses, and you can either reference it by typing in A1. It'll reference the cell A1, or you can actually click on A1. Either way, comma, quote, and we're going to add at mcpsmd.net, end quote, in parentheses. What this is telling Excel is, hey, I have this cell A1. Can you attach this string on the end of it? And Excel will say, okay. So we have student ID at mcpsmd.net. And all we have to do is extend the formula down to our last student, and we have all of their IDs with now the email suffix attached. Now these are useless to us, so we just want these. We're going to copy, and back into column A, we're actually going to do a special paste, values. Make sure you paste values. If you do a regular paste, it won't really work, so make sure you do paste values. Okay, now we can get rid of column D. Don't need that anymore. You can also delete cell A1 because it's not really a student ID. I'm going to leave that in there because you don't actually have to delete it. So if you forget, that's okay. All it is you'll get an error code in GoGuardian saying, hey, this is not a student email. Only 30 out of 31 of your students were enrolled, and that's okay. We can just leave that in there. So we have our list of student IDs. Perfect. We need to save our file. We're going to File, Save As, and we're going to name it. This is my period 7. Data was created. And you're going to want to save it somewhere where you can find it. So I don't want it in downloads. I've made a folder for it, so we'll save it in there. And the last thing that we need to make sure we do is we're not saving this as an Excel workbook. We're saving this as a .csv. And there are multiple of these. There's this one here. There's this one down here. There's this one down here. It doesn't matter which one you choose. Dealer's choice. I always just do the first one. But to my knowledge, all of them work. So we're saving this as a CSV. We've named it. We know what folder it's in. We're going to save it. All right, minimize it, close it, whatever you need to do. Now we're going to go to GoGuardian. You can go through, you can go through Clever, or you can just type in teacher.goguardian.com. Okay. We don't have period 7 yet, so we're going to add the classroom. This is going to be period 7. Oh, look at that. This is science. Leave description blank. Choose a unique color. The default scene, I use none because I only use scenes for testing purposes. Having students sign up is relatively unreliable. Adding individual emails, I think, is, again, not as efficient, and you could make errors. So we're going to do, again, this upload CSV method. We just saved our CSV, so it should be wherever we saved it. So period 7. Open. Oh, look, one student was not successfully uploaded. Makes sense? Perfect. And all of our students are now loaded into GoGuardian. And we can start the session if we were within the session time period. And we're ready. Everything's ready. In my period 7, that was generated by Clever. So period 7, I'm actually going to go ahead and archive this guy. If I ever need him again, I can unarchive it. But it is now in the archived classes for GoGuardian.